Hi everyone, it's Adrian Leah. This is an exciting video. I just received a parcel in the mail. It's from Ukraine and it's a tarot deck. I haven't gotten a tarot deck in a while. Um, I have been mainly using Slavic decks. The Glory to Ukraine Tarot has been my main deck for the past year. So I went back to their shop to see if I could get a backup for that deck. When I went to their shop, I saw that they had other decks that came out, so I saw the one that I purchased and I immediately um, felt like this is the deck that I want. And so I bought the Hutsul Tarot. So this is the card that comes with the purchase. And I also have the Sunflower Field Tarot from them, and I love that one too. This is the Hutsul Tarot. I felt like this would be super special because when I think of the Hutsuls, I think about their textiles. If you're into fiber arts, you'll hear about the Hutsuls and the Ukrainians with the different types of um, textiles that they come out with. I reference a lot of their videos for different projects. They do a lot of weaving and embroidery. There is knitting there too. And so I just really wanted to get this one. When I received it, it felt like, I'm sorry, it felt so warm to me as if it was like loving or like a warm hug type of energy from it. I'll read what it says in the back. It says, Hutsuls are an ethnic group of Ukrainians living in the Carpathian Mountains. They have preserved many ancient customs, traditions, and rituals. That's why the characters in our deck are dressed in traditional Hutsul costumes and use ancient utensils and household items, such as, for example, millstones. Most of the cards in the deck reproduce the plots and meanings of A.E. Waite's tarot, which a tarot reader should be familiar with. So it says meeting Ukraine at the bottom, and it's down there. And I opened it up. I was excited, and because of the packaging, it was packaged in like a foam and saran wrap. So I undid that. I still have the first couple of cards that I pulled out for myself. It was interesting because I saw the extra card, then I took it out. I went for my first draw. There was two extra cards from what I saw. Maybe there's two for sure. And that was the first card was just the card that didn't have a associated um, tarot card with it. So This is the back. This has the same cardstock as the Sunflower Field Tarot, and I love that deck too. The Glory to Ukraine Tarot is the one that I mainly use for the Ukrainian readings on my other channel, and in general, I mainly use that deck. So the Slavic decks have been getting my knitted bags, which is fantastic because my bag to deck ratio, there is a difference there. I am slowly getting bags knitted up, but this one is for the Glory to Ukraine Tarot. This one is the Sunflower Field Tarot deck bag, and I have other ones too, so maybe I could show them in another video, but it's mainly the Slavic decks that have it. One of them I did buy from Ukraine. It is technically not a Slavic deck, but I consider it the in that section of my decks that I keep. And this deck is getting my Pray for Ukraine bag. So I've done this pattern a couple times. It's a free pattern on Ravelry, and I've knit mittens with it, and I use the writing. This is going to be the Pray for Ukraine, and then the back will be the trident. So it'll be knit up soon. I feel like I'll add another round of hearts for it to be a bag that will engulf the box. So this can fit both the deck and the box in it. And I go with patterns, or I go with patterns and yarn, and it's whatever feels right at the time. So this is what it's going to be. What's nice about this deck is that you really get to learn about different things about Ukraine. Um, I heard that some of the symbolism and imagery, and even in the back, they say that it references certain things that are within the culture, and then um, the book itself, sorry, it's in English and Ukrainian, so the back is Ukrainian. I like to go through the back because it helps me practice reading. So this is a deck that I feel that is super accessible to those around the world and those who also want to learn more about the culture. Even with the Glory to Ukraine Tarot, which I mean I might do another video about, but I feel like it's super readable without the book. Um, but it does like it is really nice to hear like what monument is it if you know it, or if you don't know it, it might give you extra information about how it's associated with that card and what it means to the artist. So I'll show some of the cards, but I really wanted this to be a reading video. Not sure if anybody's looking for a reading video, but I figured that it would be nice to show how the deck reads, and what better way to show how a deck reads than to read with it. It's funny, well, this is technically my second card draw from this deck because the first card that I pulled was a blank, and I hope I clarify that, or maybe I'm overly clarifying it, but I'll show the cards. So these are the blanks. They have the backing on each side. And I don't usually show it in order for the flip through. Sometimes I may, but you'll see that there are color associations with the different suits, as well as the different types of patterns. So Knight of Coins, Knight of Pentacles. This is my first or second card draw. It's interesting because I did a little bit of a spread for myself. And then my future, I got the King of Coins, King of Pentacles here. So you see with the background with the yellow and the pentacles. And it does feel like a little bit of a lonely type of energy, or an energy where you kind of have to do stuff on your own, because my present was the Hermit card. And the obstacle is the Strength, and how to overcome the obstacle is the Chariot. And with that, it just feels like there's a lot of clarity that talks about going within and finding maybe your own piece, or putting your own puzzle together. Sometimes we have those independent type of journeys, and sometimes they include side quests, sometimes they include things that you don't necessarily want to do, but it kind of gives you that reveal of finding your own type of stability and seeing things that maybe you've never seen in yourself before. There's a lot of potential that comes out of it. And with the Chariot, it really does feel like going where the wind takes you. This does feel like more of an angelic association, and you see that the charioteer is riding on clouds, and I feel like that can be kind of associated with like the angel that you may see in the traditional Rider-Waite-Smith imagery. Other energy cards, well, this was at the bottom of the deck when I was pulling cards, and that would be the Temperance. And I do feel like it's one of those things where you're trying to be steady. With this, it's like she is, it looks like more of an ancient type of, not tool, but vessel that you wouldn't really see in a lot of modern homes, at least in America. And it's really like carrying that weight and being able to follow through. Since there is like that hermit energy, I really feel like it is a focus on yourself. And I love the traditional clothing and embroidery that's there. Um, I'm going to sew and embroider a garment myself, and it's definitely going to take a long time, but I'm definitely excited about that. So you have the Wheel of Fortune here. And I like how it has the coral here. coral tends to have like a regal association. It also can associate with status. In America, if you're generally thinking about maybe Native American culture, it can be linked to maybe maternal or like blood or like river or like something that really associates with the feminine. Um, I know that there is more of a interpretation with that in terms of the way that it is linked to the culture. So I will give a little excerpt. Maybe I'll just keep the box open because I keep opening the box. And in the past, I have the Two of Wands. And it kind of looks like having already preconceived plans. And then somehow it is like a little bit of an isolation mode. And sometimes we have those moments. And I didn't address the ears, so when I got those knitting needles, the vintage ones, I found these ears and they just clip over. So they're comfy. And then if someone's like, that's fucking disgusting, I'm like, well, I don't know, I cleaned it and it's not like in my ear in that way. I'm not sure if it was just in the description, but I am looking through this booklet and it does give that foundational meaning. It's the what you would consider the little white book in color. The the booklet can be telling if you want to reference it. But let me put it there and I'm going to start maybe showing some cards and then I'll start reading. I could do a flip through too, but maybe a flip through at like showing it with my phone or something might be nice. So the colors on the back, um, they just really spoke to me in a way where like looking at the different imagery and charts of the embroidery patterns. I'm gonna see them too. Because I had it turned over. And it kind of makes me feel like this will be a deck that I may carry around. I technically have like a mini deck that I have in my bag, but this bag is a little larger than the other bag that is created by the same Etsy seller. So maybe I'll put my larger one in. And I didn't say. So this is what it basically is, an eclipse. That's just my piercing there, but I think they're fun. So the swords you get blue, and then the pentacles you get yellow. Wands are green, and then cups are red. There were a couple other decks that I wanted to get, but I'm like, this is the deck that really spoke to me from the Ukrainian Etsy shop. And the aces are the Matanka. That's my accent, and the world card has one too. And they're faceless, so energy or like ancestors can like freely flow, and it's just not stuck. I love the color blocking that you get. So there's um when you have black on the card, like it's really black. And then there's the blue that's there. And they're solid. I tend to do that when I paint. Uh, I kind of want to put the aces together. So this is one of them. I know I showed another one. And it's nice, like another exercise or thing that you can do is you could put the suits, you could line up the suits and you could do a story with them based off of, like, maybe if you have it in chronological order or if you don't have it in chronological order. But I mean, you could do that with it being mixed up too. So I'm gonna do a reading in a moment. I do like how it's concentrated color, as I was saying, because it's whatever, like when you're doing the reading, what your eye goes to, because every reading is different. And well, I like to treat every reading different from the last reading. And some of it is even the absence of color. I like that it takes a more traditional, um, well, it has traditional interpretations, but there's definitely things that are more calculated into the imagery, as I was mentioning. And that's really nice for me. Because I tend to go for either like abstract or decks that have the traditional meaning and some imagery, but the artist really branches out and you get to see how their mind was working the deck up and how they view the cards and what it means to them. And there's another ace. And this one. So I'm going to show these four. I might do another video where I show the different cards from the different suits. And it'll be fun to discover and to do a deep dive on the different color associations. Especially for the coins or pentacles and the wands. And then you get to see the type of like symbol they have for it, because like you see that wand there. Because I haven't seen that one in a deck, but it piques my interest. So of course, looking at the lover card, and that's the lovers, the front of the, well, the box cover. Okay, I'm actually going to do a video showing the cards closer up. So I'm not gonna show all the cards, I still have more left. I'm gonna read with it now. I didn't turn over well, I'm turning over the cards now. So far, swords. For some reason, more swords. And I feel like I was shuffling the deck, and it was shuffled before I started pulling out the cards. The karmic card, or why everything's happening, is the Ace of Swords. It's almost like putting all this work into it, and it's almost like it's that getting that clarification or just to receive that simple or small answer, or maybe even that hey, um, that is coming out of it. It's just because when I'm feeling like it's such a strong position and you're getting the Ace of Swords, I'm not saying the Ace of Swords can't be of a benefit or it can't be a stronghold in this reading or in general, but it just feels like with this card right now, it's like you're putting in everything, all you've got, all the money, all your strength. The persistence is just completely evident in there, and you're waiting. It's almost like it's a response, but in a way, getting that foot through the door, that type of combination. Um, and wanting things to get realized. This also kind of feels like, when you work your butt off, especially at a beginning position, and you're trying to just like move up in the world in terms of your career and not just working to live type of situation. It really feels like that energy. And it's like no going back. I have to do this. I'm determined this is going to work. Because even um, pairing it off with the underlying energy is the Five of Swords. And I do tend to like to read those two together. I also like to read the underlying energy with the what's on the mind because it often can tell you more on specific actions or like things that you think or why you take certain things in terms of the environment. So with Ace of Swords, you have the Five of Swords, and that is more of a kind of like a painstaking energy of I will not back down. This is an extreme not going back on this. Um, it's interesting. I just turned over those. Well, and then the third one I turned over, which are the only three that I turned over. The past position is the Six of Swords, so it's almost like trying to work out those kinks. I'm going to turn over the other cards. And for some reason, with the Six of Swords, because you often see it with a boat, and in this image, you can see that that there is a boat there. The words that I'm getting um are fixing the sail. Like there's something that maybe helps you move in a specific direction, and maybe you're trying to adjust it so you can glide easier or you can glide somewhere else. There's just something that needs to improve, and in order for you to do that, you need to. I was getting change course. So there might be like a different course of action that comes into play. It's like we're going through plans A through Z and we're kind of seeing what works and what doesn't work. See, the environment card is the Seven of Wands. It's interesting that with this deck, it just felt right to pull out that Celtic cross on here. You have, I say it because I haven't done this one in a while. So the environment is the Seven of Wands. for some reason, like the feeling of fire underneath your feet or surrounding you, it just feels so evident. Like it's almost like there is only way. I'm not saying that there's only one way because I was talking about plans A through Z, but things in a way like kind of cave in onto you as if you're forced to do something, and maybe the universe might be giving you this opportunity because the opportunity is still there. That if you don't take this opportunity, who knows how long it'll last. It kind of reminds me of like, I had this conversation with my friend, and I was talking about like the clothes, and she's like, yes, like definitely get your wardrobe going while you can, while you're still um into like the clothes that are out, because I have said that I pop in here and there in like different stores, specifically Hot Topic. I usually mainly go there. And for years I was like, it's nice. I always love the store in general, but I rarely bought anything. But this time around, when they're coming out with clothes that I grew up with, we were just like reminiscing on the different types of clothing styles. And she just like revealed something to me that I was like, yes, this is exactly what I was saying, because I told her I bought jeans the other day for the first time since like um high school, and um I would just go for the low rise boot cut. That was just the style for me because I felt like it balanced out my height, and she was like, yes, because she used to watch this fashion show. Sorry. This is going in places, but she was watching this fashion TV show, and they were saying like um the short girlies like stick to the bootleg because they are the ones that like really balance out your height. And I just felt that so strongly. And whether or not this happens, I was happy that she said it. She's like, yeah, and in Costco they're having like those um what do you call it, like those tracksuits, like how Juicy used to have like the matching jacket and sweatpants. And she's like, just let me know your size and then I'll pick something up for you. And I'm like, even if it doesn't happen, I super appreciate it. So um again, like, sorry, to do it while you can. And even because I'm taking another college course, even my professor was like to do stuff while the opportunity is still there. Um, because my parents wanted me to take another course, and I'm like, I guess. And so that's what this is now, and I'm feeling like, well, it's more to add to my resume, and you get more letters after your name, so you know the workforce loves that. So you have the further future as the Three of Cups and the Two of Cups. I really feel like there is like a dominant energy that really takes the situation and just grasps it with all her might or his might. I'm just saying her might because like this specific character here, and it could reflect the Three of Cups here. It just makes me feel like this person's like, yes, this is what we're doing. We're like, for lifers, we're together forever, and it's this, that, and the third, and I will not accept it any other way. It does not have to be with relationships, and it doesn't have to be, um, I don't feel like it's necessarily in a bad way in general, too. I don't feel like it's super forced, but there's just that sense of excitement. And with that Two of Cups, it just like, either the person or the situation seems chill about it. They're just like, okay. it doesn't seem like an energy of like revolting or being pessimistic or being something that isn't what it wants to be. Like, I feel like both energies, whether it's a person that you're associating with or like a situation that you're associating with, that Three of Cups seems like that support that he or she is yearning for or even needs at this time. As I said with the Seven of Wands, take it while you can. If there's that opportunity, take it while you can, or if this person, it might be that right time to do it. The Three of Cups just feels like really communal. Um, I'm not saying that there's like multiple participants in that way, but it almost reflects off of the Four of Wands too, and in a sense of like it's about time or a time of celebration, that type of combination. I didn't get the Four of Wands at the moment, but I didn't turn over all the cards yet either. So, um, there's just like an enjoyment or even feeling like enjoying each other's company, or it just feels like there's a compatibility there. There's another question that came up in one of the discussion boards that I had to answer on why I chose the class or course um, to get that certification or to do this, that, and the third. And I did reference feeling a compatibility when working in pharmacy. It's a type of work that I am looking for. It's not too repetitive, but you have an idea of like something that you will do at some time of the day. You might do this at one time and that at another time that you've done before, but it can be like on an individual basis, like if you're compounding or you're making the medication. Although you might be doing the same formula, it could be a different lineup of medications and it could be like that type of combination. You could be filling prescriptions one minute, then you could be doing computer work another minute. Occasionally, they want you up front to help out if it's crowded and people are looking for their medication and it's that type of rush or time of day, or if they need help with the immunizations, you might be doing that. So you have like an idea. It's not so much labor intensive in a way where you're lifting an insane amount of weight and running around to do this, where this and doing that. Like in the pharmacy that I worked at, or one of the pharmacies that I worked at, I was basically, it's almost like a bar setup. So you have the medications behind you, and then you have your counters, your computers. The lab was like the size of a closet. It was a lot of independent work. You like that? I like that type of stuff. So, um, not too much of communicating with patients, and that was great for me. I like to help, but I like to help from a distance, and there's my answer. So, there is just that type of like taking in. It's almost like taking somebody under your or under their wing too. I feel like there's an energy of taking somebody under your wing. Because with this Two of Cups, there just seems to be like a dominant energy, specifically like a feminine energy. And I'm not saying that you need to be feminine, but it could be that aspect of yourself because we all have it where there's like the maybe motherly or maternal instinct to nurse something back to health. If maybe that's what you associate it with, sometimes you may not associate it, that type of maternal instinct with that stuff. So it can be up to you, but overall, with this Two of Cups and the Three Cups, it does look like caring or nurturing and even giving back to some type of community. A lot of times when you're thinking about cups, we think about the soul tribe type of community aspect of it. Who is in our vicinity, who is dear to us, even if they're not that close to us, sometimes they're not within our quarters, and we make encounters along the way. I feel like one of the most important things, like the hopes or fears, and I feel like this is more of a hope and it's like an accomplishment that you get from this Chariot card, Major Arcana, and that is that one, is that it goes in the direction of what we're looking for. It a lot of times it really is a focus on the things that speak to us. Like like if we're doing art and it's important to us, or doing any type of what makes us feel like art in our minds. It doesn't have to be like drawing, it could be different things, like fiber related, or even working on airplanes. If that really speaks to you, it's like what your soul knows what to do. And in a way, it's like your hands, or maybe that paintbrush, or like even cards. Like if you're passionate about reading, it becomes an extension of yourself, and it's showing like that window into your own soul. When we're true to ourselves and when we do things that our soul loves and is so it engulfed in us, it brings the right type of ingredients to the meal, or to whatever you're trying to make. Um, because there is a reason for things. And maybe when you're not on the right, or when you don't feel like you're necessarily going in the right direction, I feel like for the Six of Swords, it's in the past, but it's trying to navigate those waters. And sometimes you might circle around and you might think that, oh, I've never been to this island, but you're really on the back of the island and you've been there and you've done that. So now we gotta like circle it and go somewhere else. This actually happened to me. I always lose the car. Like I'm using my parents' car right now because I don't want to use my car because I want to keep it under 100,000 for selling it. And I went to this mall and it just had this, because I was thinking, I'm going to be bougie today and I'm going to buy something from the mall. Granted, I bought something on sale, but there was also like a thrift store, like warehouse type of area where they had like a bunch of stuff, like specifically, like a lot of it was Amazon, and they put it in a lot of bins for you to dig through and just search around what you're looking for. So I bought some fabric because it was like $3 a piece, and they're like, well, if it looks like it comes from the same box, we'll count it as one for $3 for a ton of yardage. So I couldn't really like go wrong with that. For some reason, I'm constantly losing the car, and I could not, and I forgot where I parked. I'm always doing that. So I circled back around. I was awkwardly carrying this box. It wasn't super heavy, but it wasn't super like comfortable to carry either because it was a strange kind of weight and shape for it. So eventually I found it, but I feel like maybe that was the balance out of lucking out on the things that I got. That's interesting. I feel like there's an important question that comes to mind with the Knight of Cups. The Knight of Cups is the overall energy. I'm going to move this mouse because I don't want to accidentally end the reading. But the overall energy is the Knight of Cups. And it just feels like there is a soul searching type of aspect of this. And some of it is I know what I want, but I don't know what I don't want. And those things are, they can be important when it comes down to it, because if we don't know what we dislike, it feels like there is more of a gap of questions that have yet to be answered. Like we have to put in the work to find some of the answers that we're looking for. And I feel like there's an energy that holds us back to that. Because in the mind position, you have the devil card. And I'm just looking at it, and it looks like there's ferns there. And ferns, like in terms of like prehistoric type of, well, it's a prehistoric plant, so it's been with us for a really long time. It just feels like that energy that's like that creeps up on you, or that's like in that corner, that just lurks and waits for that right time to just fuck your day up. With this devil card, there is a little bit of pessimistic energy, I feel like, with that Six of Swords that comes from the past. And even with the Tower card might be like a great reason why that Devil Major Arcana and Tower Major Arcana come up. And I'll pull up the underlying energy, as I said, is the Five of Swords with the Devil card, because I like to put those together so you could get an idea of what could be underneath it all. So the present is the Tower card. As I said, I actually really like this type of Tower card. Um, Not like I like how things are flamed up, but I think it's uh, a nice type of imagery that is on the Tower card. And it kind of feels like, windmills. I'm not saying that it's meant to like put out fires. There are other things that it's much suitable for, but when you think about like airing something out, either it can help put out the fire or it can help make it worse or help spread it. Um, those can be questions that need to be answered too. Like, what are things that might be in your routine that need to be addressed? There are some things in life that we see in ourselves on the daily, maybe about our personality, that we know of, and we don't really say it's a problem because we're not willing to change it. And that's okay. And if that's your prerogative, that's your prerogative. But there is like an aspect of like, if something doesn't get done, there's not going to be anything left for the tower to move forward. And because like you still have some cards left in the major arcana to go through. And it has like constellations, not constellations, or it has like otherworldly or maybe even spiritual type of viewpoints when we get like the star and the moon and the sun. Those types of things where when we as little bitty human beings experience these everyday things, we kind of go into ourselves and even go outwards to like maybe a spiritual path or spiritual truth and find something that we can grasp to help us either understand or make us feel like why we answer those questions of why this is worthwhile, why we live and why it's worth living. This could be pretty severe anxiety that could come from the tower, and with everything coming up in flames and changing, and even feeling like we're trying to keep up with it with the Seven of Wands in the environment card, it can really lead to a lot of mental health crisis type of situations. But in the immediate future, I feel like those things get laid away in the because your immediate future, as I was saying, is the King of Swords. Um, I feel like there might be something to be listened to because like I felt like, oh my God, is my ear coming off? Um, but it just seems like something that is being super analyzed and being like super clear and wanting to make sure that in the midst of all this, we find that silver lining. I know with the King of Swords, it can be more like of a stricter aspect, but for some reason, the imagery here it kind of looks a little jovial with those types of sleeves, and even seeing things clearly, like with nothing just like straight like that, it just seems like there's nothing that this person can't see. This could also be the Two of Cups too, and with the opposite energy of that dominant energy. Maybe there's an acceptance speech or like an okay, as I said, with waiting with that Ace of Swords, because we see, or this person sees the character or the situation for what it really is. And honestly, I do feel like that situation is more worthwhile because with that Ace of Swords, it's getting that like that firm confirmation. And it might be like relationship wise, and it might be like it kind of feels like more of like the chill personality with the person that just seems like um that super like maintain main character type of energy where it's just like kind of in your face type of person. And I feel like that is kind of like where the direction is heading with this. Because this energy is so in your face, it's almost like it needs to be addressed. King of Swords, I feel like goes with one of the archetypes that are in the Two of Cups. And this person's also seeing, like literally seeing. And you can even say, like, how can you not see? And then the other extra cards that I pulled. I feel like the King of Swords in this reading will be a card that, even though it's a sword suit and it's air, it in a way it can mentally ground the situation or situations that are going on. I'm not saying it's like multiple people in that way, but I feel like there is just such a tower moment where I don't know, if you saw like a giant building that was on fire like that, like what would you do? But just like internalizing it and associating it with your own life. And then you have like the devil card on your mind. Like this is always in like eating at me. So if it's eating at you, I feel like it is something that definitely needs to be addressed. As I said with the Knight of Cups and the knights in general, they tend to be like the voyagers, the ones that go on the missions, the ones that really still have the things to do. I'm not saying the kings don't move, but if we're thinking about movement cards, we're thinking about the knights with the in the court cards. Because you have the Four of Swords and then you have the Three of Swords. This kind of goes back. So there's a lot of like energy of like going from six to five because it's the Six of Swords and the Five of Swords. Well, I mean, you have three, four, five, and six here. And then if we're thinking about seven, you have Seven of Wands from a different suit. So the Four of Swords and Three of Swords also in this reading as other energy cards. And it just, there's something it's like I can't. It's something that like you try to move forward for something, but something just is like, it's like you're saying, today I'm gonna do this and I'm gonna get over this and everything is going to be different because today's the day that I move forward. And the Three of Swords is like, no, 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 I can't get past this part. There's something that again with the Five of Swords, it's one of those main cards in this reading where it talks about we're going to, I'm getting fixed. There's something about like in your head, it needs to be planned out or addressed. And there's no way around it because I'm not going to keep having this devil type of thing on my shoulder to like give me answers that are not true or give me answers that I don't want to hear or keeping me stressed the fuck out. The King of Swords is going to like cut all of those ties off and maybe just revamp whatever plan that he or she had before and um there are certain things that we're accepting, but it might not be a bad thing that we're accepting because it leads to other things. The Six of Swords, I feel like it comes to terms with that, that we're going to have to like directionalize it. It's going to be changed up a little bit. Then you also have the Nine of Wands, and you have 9 and 9. So you have Nine of Wands and the Nine of Swords. So this is really like in a way a little destructive because it's it's tiring to be in those energies, especially on a constant, or if you feel like constantly fight or flight type of energy, it's not one that you would want to be in a lot. Because the Nine of Wands is a card where it's like energetically fatigued because you keep fighting this fight. Um, if you think it's worth a fight, I'm not saying it's not worth a fight. Like, why um, are you fatigued? Is there a way to help alleviate those things to help you feel more energized for this? Because you still have the Ten of Wands to go to, and the Ten of Wands isn't an easy card either, because there's like things that are like heavy as shit on that card, and it's like piling up. Like if you have an assignment and or you have a couple assignments that were due this time, and then it goes into the next week, you didn't do it, you still have to do the assignments, but now you have another group of assignments that you have to do, and that is just going to add up. So I feel like it's also doing yourself a favor. There's the Nine of Swords. It's almost like I know, I know, I know, I know, I know. But for this reading, it's like the King of Swords is treating it like no time like the present type of thing. So I'm gonna pull out a couple more cards. It's already past an hour. And that'll be the reading. But I am super enjoying this deck. And ending your reading with a couple of, well, there's two tens here, and you had two nines, another major arcana. So Hierophant, Tower, Chariot, Devil are the major arcana cards in this reading. So there's other court cards, another sword court card. You have the Page of Swords with the Hierophant. And these cards are like they go together because it is a sense of higher learning for a bigger purpose. It can be becoming the student, um, or a type of somebody that like works from the ground up with this. I feel like with the Six of Swords and even the Five of Swords, one of the disputes or like the irritation is going back a couple of steps to redo some things in order to move forward because there's something that just didn't like fit right. And maybe it's like technically another go and you're doing it again, but you're doing it knowing and understanding why um me why I sewed pants 2 sizes too big, thinking, oh well, at least I'll have more wiggle room. But now I'm like, well, when I did it, I'm like, well, I had to like take off over 4 inches because it it couldn't even stay. And so now I did my size and knowing that my pants fit. I'm working on another pair of pants, by the way. So with the Page of Swords and the Hierophant, there could be lessons along the way that come into play. And it is about implementing them. I feel like with the King of Swords, there is that I was gonna say personification, but it is a way and other sayings like it's like a way to get your nutrients in. There's like a way to incorporate it into your life than just doing the same things over again and making things worse. It's like if you're doing the same things over again, it's almost putting fuel to that fire in that tower card. And it is really stressful because it just seems like, well, I mean, the devil card's on your in the mind position. So, oh, I didn't pull up those two cards together. I should, well, this is a long video, I'm sorry. So this is the Five of Swords, the underlying energy with the mental card, the devil card. And no card is a bad card in the deck. It's just a way of reading it. So until those things are solved, there might be like that brick wall type of thing where you keep hitting a brick wall until um things are. I was also getting reciprocated, and if you're talking to somebody and it might be like a brick wall, there might be a different avenue or way to talk to them and getting some messages out there, which I feel like the Ace of Swords, that is like one of the most important things in this reading. And it might be so minuscule to some people, but there's just like an utmost importance to do this. So the final cards, you have the Ten of Coins, Ten of Pentacles, with the I'm sorry. Well, there's the Ten of Wands here. I was going to say Ten of Wands. So I feel like those two really pair off together. And then the Page of Wands. This really feels like the possibilities, especially with what the Five of Swords like kind of strives for, and even with the further future with the Three of Cups and the Two of Cups, because you see that there's like 3 and 3. So it might be trying to get out of that like position that you're in. Again, the foot through the door, maybe if there's like a friend type of situation, getting out of like that friend zone position and moving things forward with the Two of Cups. Um, and the rules can even be switched with like, again, the strong feminine energy that comes out of it, and that could be the opposite type of um, gender. I'm not reading for gender, so you can associate it how you want to. The Ten of Coins, the Ten of Wands, there just seems like a relief. Like even when the Ten of Wands, like you had the 9 and it's happy to get into the 10. And even though it's like hard work along the way with the Ten of Wands, it just feels like being able to move out of that situation or out of that territory or moving on in a way where it's in a different type of situation or phase of life, there is like a groundedness with the Ten of Coins or the Ten of Pentacles, and that can, um, in a way, link to like the family tree. There is something that goes way back. So if we're thinking about the Three of Cups and the people or person that we've kept around, it can develop with the Two of Cups, and um, there's something that really stays true to that. The Ten of Coins or Ten of Pentacles does have a dog on it, so there is that sense of loyalty that comes with it. And even that home ownership, you don't need to be getting a home, but it seems like something that it might be wanting to have some type of end all be all, or that type of tangible goal that you set your sights on. It's like a card that doesn't give up, and it's a card that lives on, and even like almost like living forever. And I was talking about with the cups, and you think about like community. The Ten of Coins or the Ten of Pentacles, I feel like you can associate with some type of family, again with like a family tree, but it doesn't necessarily have to be direct family. It's like the OGs, or like who stuck around when everybody else thought like, dude, this person's like fucking up or is like a failure, and then thinking about my best friend and she's like, what are you talking about? Like, stop talking all that fucking shit because I know her, and um I know she's gonna realize that she has like all the aces up her sleeve, and she she gets through things, and she's not the type of person that gives up. That type of um the people that or person that you keep around you. The Ten of Wands, it just feels like it feels good. I feel like especially when I received the deck, there was a lot of energy that felt like um emotional. And again, it felt like a warm type of hug. The Ten of Wands, I'm feeling a lot of emotion that comes out of it, even though it's a Wands energy. But there is just like such an energetic relief that maybe you got away from like the devil, or like the tower is no longer like a flaming fucking like mess of what it was, and now things can um we can settle the way that we need to settle, and put these objects or things that we have to move into this house that is now something that we can rely on. It's not something that's on fire. It's not something that can be easily torn down. It feels nice with this Ten of Wands. I feel like it's one of the most, in a way, I know it's not like cups or anything, but it's like the most emotional cards in this reading. And underlying that, since I accidentally pulled it up, is the Page of Swords. So the Page of Swords, I feel like it's realizing or um figuring out the type of value certain things have. And with the Ten of Wands, I feel like it's narrowing down those things, and feeling like you brought things into your home or brought things into your life that are meant to be there, or there's something like of substance that comes out of that. So thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you in another video. Bye.